One of the hot names that's been tied to the Niners in the last week is the Texas corner, Jahdae Barron. Daniel Jeremiah had Barron going to the Niners in the latest mock. CBS Sports had Barron going to the Niners in their latest mock. Now Pete Prisco has the Barron going 11 overall.
Everybody goes to the Daniel Jeremiah does that, then the rest of the sheep follow along.
Right, exactly.
Daniel Jeremiah said that, did he?
Prisco says the Niners lost a safety and a corner in free agency, so I have them opting to take a player who can play either spot, even the nickel if needed. Barron can do a lot of things. Here's my thought on this. I really believe that more than they need of this, they need of that, okay? If you back away from these drafts and you'll say, oh, my God, that, the 2017 49er draft was a freaking tire fire. They took Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster and passed on Patrick Mahomes, and what in the hell? And then somebody will look at that and be like, yeah, but they got George Kittle. Mm-hmm. People will be like, oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, they got George Kittle, so that kind of makes it all better. Because when you get a great player, that kind of washes away the mistakes more so than just filling a need. And the one thing I'll say is, and I went through this mock exercise with somebody a few weeks ago, and we're just going through, go for great players. Well, get this. This guy, Barron, is a great player. I mean, somebody compared him to Brian Branch, and I see a lot of Branch in him, man. He's violent. He's a great corner. He's totally dominating. You can play him on the boundary. You can play him in the slot. He's a big-time hitter. He turns the ball over. To me, more than anything, it's like, I don't care what you do, but you have to get a great player. It doesn't matter. As long as you get great players, it doesn't matter if they're not quite your number one need. That will not matter. What really matters is draft the great players that are available to you. And you can always go find somebody at a different position down the road. So even though I know they're looking for a defensive tackle and an offensive tackle and a linebacker, but, you got to have great corners too. And they have Demo and Renardo, but the third corner would be Trey Brown right now. And
that's another head scratcher. He couldn't stay healthy in Seattle.
He's tiny.
He couldn't. Yeah. Look, when he played, he wasn't bad, but he didn't play enough and he was hurt. That was a real head scratcher. I'm with you. What's funny is that teams always say they don't draft for need, but they do draft for need. Tennessee's going to take Cam Ward, who threw the ball amazingly well against Air today, by the way, which is just, I don't know why teams, it just drives you absolutely crazy after Zach Wilson and Trey Lance and Justin Fields, all these guys, they're playing against no defense. You and I could go out there and probably make some pretty good throws against no defense whatsoever. But Cam Ward looked that way, and it looks like Tennessee's going to take him number one. He's not the best player in the draft, but quarterbacks get pushed up. But teams say this all the time. We're not going to draft for need. We're not going to draft for need. We're not going to draft for need. And then the 49ers take Javon Kinlaw instead of Tristan Wirfs. That's just what teams do. They panic, they get on the clock, and they elevate players above other players because they panic over a need. And my thought on the 49ers would be, and I agree with you 100%, you're at the point, you're not a bad team at all, but you're at the point where you need enough, especially defensively, that if there's a great player on the board and he's far above another player, you just have to take that player and you fill in. You don't need to take that right player. Now, look, you're not going to take two quarterbacks or, whatever. You got a running back, right. You're fine. There's not value in that position. There's not value as much at linebacker. But that's what's fun about the draft is it's how deep is that position in the draft? How do you value that position? What are you trying to do? All these different things. That's what's important. And for the 49ers, even though I think right tackle, and if Membu, a guy like out of Missouri, was there and they could really shuffle their line to move McKivitz to left guard and they could really solidify that, like you said, if you think there's a dominant defensive tackle or edge rusher in there, I'm not starting this rumor, but if I'm Nick Bosa, man, I'm sick and tired of getting doubled and tripled every single time. And if you don't get me some help pretty soon, how long am I going to stay around here? These guys get pissed off and they're like, well, we can't win. And you're not getting me any help. I mean, Bosa's got to be pissed off because people, and the game as well as anybody, Nick Bosa's great. And he gets doubled, tripled, chipped, all these different things, these exotic things. Because why? Because there's no one else on the defensive line that anyone cares about. And that included Leonard Floyd last year and Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott and Kevin Givens, and they had a bunch of garbage on that line last year. Nobody respected any of those guys. So they need that position really badly, but you're right. Get a great player. Don't reach for somebody, because that's when Javon Kinlaw happens.
Yeah, we need. I'll tell you what scared the hell out of me the other day. I saw somebody, Matt Barrows had a report from one of the pro days that Lynch was at, and he's like, they love Colton McKivitz, think he's the bee's knees, and think that their real need is not for a starting tackle, but for a swing tackle. And I realize you lost Jalen Moore, so yeah, you just lost your swing tackle, so it makes sense that you would need a swing tackle. But in reality, that is so short selling your need. It's like, dude, you have a 35-year-old roof, in Trent Williams that can go at any moment. And you, on the other side, you've got a replacement level player who probably is more of a guard or a backup. And it's like, you're going to try to delude yourself into you just need a swing tackle. No, you need you need to draft multiple future starting tackles. And it can be done, but it's got to be done.
If you're going to give Purdy this kind of money, it's almost like when you bring a rookie quarterback in. Okay, so you're investing all this money in this guy, and I get the Chris Forrester, we can shine shit kind of a thing. Where interior alignment, I get it. You're not going to spend high picks on interior alignment. I understand that. But tackles are different. And you've seen it from Trent Williams, how dominant he is. He's going to leave soon. I wouldn't be shocked at all if this was his last year. He's starting to get those injuries. Not like Joe did at the end, Joe Staley, but Joe got the neck, and so it just started to nag him. And you and I both talked to him after he retired. I mean, it's just like, you know what? It was one after the other, and that's what's starting to happen with Trent Williams. And after a while, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's got enough money. He doesn't need it. The only reason he's playing is for wins and to win a Super Bowl and to kind of complete his career with a ring. And if that's not going to happen here, then he's probably going to retire, and this will be his last year. You can't have Colton McKivitz on the blind side of Brock Purdy even for 30 seconds. You can't have tackles are different. Interior, and especially, by the way, the interior of the offensive line, especially because Brock is barely 6'1", that was part of his problem last year. The inside pressure, so that he couldn't see balls or throws, or was very, very compromised on those throws, was a major reason why he sucked last year at times. But nobody wants to look at that. Everybody wants to put everything on him, and I get it. But if you watch the film, they're getting constant inside pressure. Aaron Banks and now I'm
Brendel.
Brendel. I mean, I'm just like, these guys inside are not good enough, and the 49ers have to. That's what's troublesome here is they have got to really get after the interior, the offensive and defensive lines, and I just don't think they have enough picks to do it. So, like you said, if they think McKivitz is fine at right tackle, like I said, I've heard that they want to move him inside to guard, but whatever, he's going to start. But in terms of, a lot of things need to change offensively and defensively, and I just don't know if they have enough resources to do it correctly this season.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you got to be a good scout. You got to get out there and figure out who that is going to be that you can get is going to be good. I mean, you can go for Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks or Membu if they're there. Though I actually kind of don't really think that Membu is going to be there. And
I don't think there's so either. He's too athletic. He showed out too much in the process, and he's not going to make it to 11. I thought he would. I thought he easily would at the beginning of the process. But when you show the kind of athleticism he's shown, and I know that you and I love the combine, but for the certain things that he did so well, it shows the athleticism. I've heard a lot of people talk about Trent Williams with him, is that he's athletic like Trent Williams. He's big like Trent Williams. He has a nasty streak like Trent Williams. I'm not saying he's going to the Hall of Fame or being that, but a lot of people have comped him because of his athletic measurements to a Trent Williams type. I mean, he's not making
Membu?
it. Membu, yeah. He's not making it to 11.
I mean, I watched 3 games, and you see offensive linemen lunge all the time. I don't think I saw him lose balance one time, and I was getting end zone tight copy, and he was like, you could see, I mean, his footwork's great. His power is unbelievable. And I think Membu could be a dominating player, but I've watched all these tackles. The 2 guys I like Emory Jones from LSU, who's on the other side of Will Campbell. He's the right tackle. And what I would do is play him at right tackle. Like I would draft Emory Jones and I would put him at right tackle and take Colton McKivitz and play him at left guard. And
Yep.
and that's it. That's what I would do. And I love Emory Jones. I think Emory Jones, he's 312 pounds, but it's like the most, this guy could easily, he's like willowy, like a basketball player. This guy could easily be 340 in 2 years. I mean, he's got such a frame to put on weight. So that's my favorite tackle. And he's probably going to be a second round player. I really, really like him. There's some really athletic tackles that tested out well at the combine, Logan Brown, and Caleb Rogers. But the other guy that I saw and I've stumbled onto that I just absolutely freaking love is this Carson Vinson from Alabama A&M. This guy's 6'7", 314 pounds, but it's just, he fights you, man. I mean, this guy is an athlete. He's an animal. I'm absolute beast of a blocker. He will fight you all day.
Bro, what happened to North Carolina guy? Like that, is he out now? And you found a new guy?
These are the tackles.
Okay, yeah,
so I like Vincent and Emory Jones, and then I love, and you're right, I love Willie Lampkin.
Yeah. If he gets drafted by the 49ers, it would be amazing. Like, he'd be a late round guy, but it would just be unbelievable. Or a free agent or whatever. Is somebody going to draft him just because he's 5'10"? I mean, is somebody really going to draft him or no?
Yes. Oh yeah. No. Somebody said that he's not going to get drafted, but they're wrong. He is going to get drafted. Too many people saw how talented this guy is. I'll say this. I think I would draft him to be Juice's replacement. He's a fullback, and at the worst, that guy's a devastating fullback. But I love Willie Lampkin. I love Marcus Ware. I love Jackson Slater. I love Connor Colby. Dylan Fairchild, Charles Grant, Donovan Jackson's one of my favorites for Ohio State. The guy who played right guard, and then when
you might be able to get him like mid-round because of the injuries, right? Yeah.
Well, no, absolutely. Simmons went down. He moved to left tackle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Simmons was the one. Yeah, Simmons was the
guy who got hurt.
And then Jackson was inside, and Ohio State moved him to tackle.
Right. He played left tackle, and he's just got ridiculous long arms. I love Tyler Booker as well from Alabama. I think he's just to me, Tyler Booker is exactly what I would want. If I was building this thing, what I would do is try to build. You have the quarterback, right? You have the quarterback. Whether people want to fight, acknowledge it or not, you got the guy. And now it's about, what do you pay him? We can debate that forever. But what you really need to do is you need to surround him with a wall of humanity. Because look at the game that Brock's playing compared to the game that Hurts played. Are you telling me after watching that Super Bowl that you don't think Brock Purdy can win a Super Bowl? Because after watching Jalen Hurts, I know Brock Purdy can win a Super Bowl. There's no doubt in my mind. But Jalen Hurts played behind the biggest, most dominant offensive line the league has ever seen. And Brock Purdy's playing behind a Swiss cheese line full of guys on handshake deals making nothing. It's time to invest. And Tyler Booker is a road grader. Now, he doesn't test out perfectly and grade out perfectly, but this guy is a devastating blocker at the point of attack. My buddy Willie Lampkin is a devastating potential center, and Emory Jones and Carson Vincent are gigantic, devastating tackles who could really, really be dominating. You could rebuild your offensive line right there and not invest any first-round picks. Booker would cost you for probably a late first, but for the most part, the guys I'm talking about are down the later guys. So I do think I would go with the one debate I'm having is, should the Niners consider Jalen Walker? Because all the mocks have him right there for the 49ers. And he's just such a dominating athlete. He's the son of a coach. He's got unbelievable speed and explosiveness. Jalen Walker, I know he was a defensive end at Georgia, and some people think he's not, instinctive enough as a linebacker. To me, he's a Patrick Willis body type, and I think he's going to be a phenomenal linebacker, Pro Bowler, smart, tough, fast. I think he's awesome. So, I mean, how do you feel about Jalen Walker?
Yeah, I think he's great. I don't know, and this goes back to drafting a great player. I don't know if they have to look at a position or if they can do something like that. Like you said, kind of a tweener type of a player, and I like him. You know, he's going to be your linebacker type. Maybe get after the passer a little bit, all that kind of stuff. Play some off ball, all those kind of things. But the thing is that when I look at the lines, I'm just thinking, and you can't look. You're not going to take 11 picks, and they're going to move around. I don't know if they're going to have more or less, whatever. Know this about the 49ers. They're going to move around. So whether it's their guys there at 11, they stay, whatever the case may be, they're going to move up and down the board and get the guys they want. But while at one side of my mouth, I'm saying, okay, you can't just draft for positional need, but you'd be silly if you didn't target the defensive line and the offensive line. You've got to target. This has to be a major trenches draft. So is that a luxury item that you're talking about, or is that somebody who, okay, he can rush, he can play linebacker, he's a versatile enough player to where, okay, that fills a major need on this team.
He's your version of Zach Bond. You know, the Eagles added a bunch, but they added Zach Bond, and he was a dominating linebacker, and he had a dominating year. I think this kid's a dominating talent. I think he's explosive. I mean, nobody closes the space quite like Jalen Walker. But he's also, you know, you're right. They need defensive tackles and offensive linemen. And, you know, it's like, where's linebacker in the mix? But you just lost Greenlaw and you made a huge effort to re-sign him, or at least you made a huge stink about not re-signing him. You need his replacement now. And I love Eugene Asante on day 3 if he gets there, but Jalen Walker is pretty damn special.